Hi everyone, I've had quite a few requests recently to do a new tutorial on a slightly more mature model. So I have a beautiful model today, her name's Sana, and the kind of look I want to do is a sort of defined makeup look. So nothing to anything in a way, just something which really defines the features. So almost like the kind of look that would work for lots and lots of occasions. So it would be good for going out for dinner with friends, or it would be good for a day look if you wanted to have some good definition. Or if you're having your photograph taken, say for example, you just wanted your features really defined without looking like you had like loads and loads and loads of makeup on. So it's not a natural look, no, because I'm going to do liner, I'm going to do a bit of smoking around the eyes. It's just about creating definition. And the kind of, definitely the kind of look that would probably work for loads of different occasions. So I hope that makes sense. And let's get started. So I'm going to start by using some cream. This is the new Victoria Beckham cream, which I've only just got. And I've tried it once. It really is it feels very rich, but it really penetrates into the skin. So you're not left feeling greasy, which is always nice. You have such beautiful skin.
Thank you very much.
And very good bone structure. Is that from your mum or dad? Someone had very high cheekbones in your...
Yeah, my mother's side, her father had Highland Scots ancestry, which apparently explains the high cheekbones. Yes.
So we're going to start with eyes. We're thinking about something a little bit smoky, or something that we could at least build up into a smoky eye. Now, I'd love to chat to everyone about the tones I'm going to choose, because I don't want anything which is too warm. So for example, sometimes with blue eyes, you think, oh, it has to be a really warm colour to bring out the blue eyes. But these sorts of tones will be jarring against the cool tones of your hair and your skin. So I want something which is not too cool, not too warm. So it's in harmony with your colouring. Sorry, I'm going on a bit here. So something like this, for example, these sorts of tones which have a little bit of brown in them, a little bit of warmth, but also there's a slightly cooler feeling as well. Or maybe I'll use this tone would be good, these sorts of tones. Again, warmth and cool sort of mixed together. If I do go more smoky, excuse this palette, this one's been all over the world in my kit, a little bit bashed around, then I will be looking at these sorts of tones that are slightly taupey, but on the cooler side of the taupeys. And then the warmest I'll go here in the warm palette is probably this one. So I'm going to do a sort of mixture of those sorts of tones. And these are sort of tones that probably lots of you do have at home anyway. So let's start. I'm going to start with a sort of mid-tone colour. Let me have a look. I might start with a matte tone actually. This one. So it's a sort of taupey, greyish, brownish shade. Just going to blend that first. Just close your eyes for me. And I'm just sort of creating a bit of a feeling with this, so nothing too precise, no hard edges, not thinking about, a socket and all of that stuff yet. That's something that we can work up to. So that's just a wash all over. What that's doing is just creating some shadow. Nothing more than that. If you can just open your eyes for me. So we're starting to get a shadow effect around the eyes, but we're not seeing any definite makeup, if you like. So next I'm going to go in with these two shades here. So one of these shades is quite warm and the other one is cool. Mix those together. Just getting some definition here. And starting to create a little bit more depth, so into this socket line area. Always keep a clean brush at hand, so you can go back in with a brush that doesn't have any makeup on. Because when you're using your brushes that already have makeup on to try and blend, it's hard because you're actually adding more colour. When you've got a clean brush, you are seamlessly blending. Open for me. And I'm going to build up quite slowly here, because what I want to make sure I do is not drag the eye down. So we want to make sure we're not coming too far down. So when the eyes are open, actually we can see here's a good area. This is just above the natural socket line. So we have some shadow coming onto the brow bone there. So now I'm going to use a slightly lighter shade, which is this one here. A camel colour really. Light camel. And just blend onto the lid. So it's just further blending underneath. This shadow has a tiny bit of shimmer in. I wouldn't say it's glittery or anything, but it's quite nice for blending the matte shadow that I used initially. So I'm just going to go, just create a little shadow underneath. I'm also going to use this as a guideline. Close your eyes for me. To roughly whereabouts I'd like to stop the shadow at the outer edge there on the top as well. That's a really useful guideline. And if you think you've gone underneath that once you've mapped it out, you can just take a Q-tip with a little remover, cut for me, and following on from that guideline. If you've gone lower, you can remove it. So next I'm going to apply some liner, and this is Sepia. Again, not too warm, not too cool, in the middle. Going to just slightly massage under Sanna's, I won't say under your eyelid because that doesn't sound too good, does it? Under your lash line. Open for me. So just building a little bit of definition in there, mainly at the outer corner again. Close for me. And then just very subtly along the centre and into the inner corner. Open, let's see. And then look this way, and then just look down, and then a tiny little bit of definition here as well. But I'm just keeping this really soft. And then on top of that, just finish this eye off, I'm going to use the same shade that I used along the lower lash line. And this is just to lift the edge of the eye. So I'm taking the colour and then just dragging up. So before I finish the eyeliner, I'm actually going to do mascara, because then I'll be able to judge it a little better. So just look down for me. Just focus on something there. With a little curl up. Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
See?
I'm always nervous. I can't do it without pinching my eyelid.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a skill.
Yes.
Perfect. Right, so I'm going to use plenty of mascara. I'm going to use a waterproof mascara because we're doing this, I guess it's more of an evening look really, since it's quite smoky. I am going to make sure that they look nice and separated as well. So I'm being quite careful to coat each lash individually. Now I wasn't going to put any fake lashes on, but I think with your dancing past, I'm sure you've worn a lot of lashes in your life.
I have, yes.
Let's go for it. I'm going to use this quite fine set. These are some Japanese lashes that I like because they are nice and sort of weightless. So you get they're easy to put on as well because they don't have the band, the thick band at the top, which is so helpful. You're not having to manipulate something which is sort of inflexible. It's open for me, let me just check I like the shape. So as the glue's drying, I'm going back in with a little bit of the liner, but this time with a slightly fluffier brush. I'm just deepening that lash line. So I'm just going to let the eyes settle down, the glue dry properly, and I'll finish the eyes later. Let's crack on with base. But yes, I love the eyelashes on you. They look so good.
Yeah, that reminds me of the old days.
Yeah.
When
did you used to put them on yourself?
Yes, I think it's easier to put them on yourself
Than other people.
Yes, I would hesitate to attempt to try and get them on anyone else at all.
So most nights you do. What kind of dancing did you do?
It was shows like the Lido and the Moulin Rouge.
Wow, amazing.
So, dancing, showgirl, feathers, high heels,
incredible.
Sequins, yes.
So what was your makeup like? What was a typical sort of look?
Big.
Yeah.
Because it was on quite a large stage with strong lighting. So
was it sort of what particular colours, or was it changing all the time?
No, I found one that I liked, you know, a makeup that I liked and tended to stick with that, which was a dark pink, sort of almost burgundy, and then
that would
greys or charcoal.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful with your eye colour.
But we used to spend, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes doing these beautiful eyes and then stick on false eyelashes that came all the way from sort of the lash line almost up to the eyebrows, which probably covered most of it. But
beautiful work.
But it was a very nice introduction to the evening. You'd come into work and sit there at your
meditative
place, just going through this ritual of applying the makeup.
Yeah, I love makeup for that reason. It
was very calming.
Ritual. And chatting to the other girls probably about what was going on and what you've been up to. And
that's right.
How did you get into dancing then? Just those?
I always wanted to dance. I started off ballet lessons when I was about 6, and I never really stopped dancing. I kept it up when I was at university as well. And gradually I started doing contemporary and some jazz. So I moved away from... I got too tall for ballet anyway, so...
Yeah, you've got an amazing figure. How do you keep fit now then? Do you still dance?
I don't dance anymore, but I do a lot of swimming these days. And I think with all the training, the muscles have developed to such an extent that whatever I do, even if I'm doing simple everyday things, I use the muscles efficiently. So I can get a workout just from doing quite simple things.
So what would be your advice to people watching that want to stay fit, and just what's your top tips for remaining fit?
I think you've got, remaining is a good word. You've got to keep at it. If you give yourself too much of a holiday, things
slide.
Use it or lose it.
It's hard. That is the
all the old sayings are quite true. Yes.
And I think if you do kind of get out of the habit, it's almost so daunting to start from scratch again.
Well, the downside of a dancing career is that I had hip surgery 2 years ago.
Oh, right.
And prior to that, it hurt to walk, but I could still swim. So swimming was about the only exercise I could do. Yeah. So I did a lot of that. Yeah. And since my operation, I've kept with the swimming because I like it.
You enjoy it, yeah. Well, it's amazing. It's a full body workout. Yes. So for under eyes, I'm going to use a tiny little bit of double wear. So not too much. I'm actually just going to buff on the thinnest layer imaginable. And a little bit extra at the inner corner there. I'm choosing this one because it is creamy, but it does last as well. So it's not going to settle into any fine lines. And then just a touch of concealer here and there, not too much. Oh, I forgot to say as well that I used on Senna's cheekbones a tiny amount of this rose quartz luminizer. So it's just a really pretty colour and a quite subtle cream highlighter there, just for a little dewiness. Again, very light-handed there. Next I'm going to use a cream blush. I'm going to choose this colour, which is almost a pinky browny rosewoody sort of tone, because again it's not too pink, it's not too cold, and it's not too warm either. So I'm just going to apply this gently the apples of the cheeks. And while I'm doing this, you must tell me if you have a favourite job or country that you visited or something.
It's hard to pick a favourite because I like different places and different jobs for different reasons. Sometimes it was the country itself, the people, the culture, the location, the climate. Other times it was the particular show or the people that I was working with. So Japan stands out as one of up there in the top 3, definitely. I always wanted to go to Japan. And I had several jobs that fell through. I was given several jobs that then fell through. And so it took me a number of attempts to finally get there, but I was very glad I did.
I just love Japan.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. It's so interesting. I think there's lots of the time you go to cities now and you see a lot of similarities. There's sort of, with lots of places, there's this homogenized kind of shops or whatever. Whereas still when you go to Japan, you just feel a sense of being somewhere totally different.
Yes.
In every way, and I absolutely love it. Of course, for beauty, it's amazing as well. I love shopping there and just looking at the local.
When I was
trends.
dancing there, it was very hard to get hold of red lipstick. We had to wear red lipstick for stage, and trying to find red lipstick was.
Yeah, it's not really. Well, I remember when I worked for Shiseido years ago, and I was a creative director there, and we were sort of doing I was working on some lipsticks, and I said, let's do a really glamorous red, and they all looked at me and said, no, we don't wear red lipstick. It's very traditional, maybe for like a grandmother's sort of, especially like very, very traditional, but day to day we wouldn't wear it, and they definitely didn't at the time. They didn't think it was more traditional and less sort of glamorous. I think it's changed a lot now.
Yes,
but then I remember it being something that was definitely to do with culturally very different from maybe the UK, and that's what's so fun about travelling, isn't it?
Indeed.
Seeing all the different cultures and histories, and feeds the soul. Right, while we were chatting, actually, I was using the blush a little bit, just a little warmth here and there, because again it's a colour which is not too pink, not too blue, not too warm. You're able to really apply it in lots of different places, and obviously you need to adapt this for different skin tones, but the philosophy and the idea sort of applies. Okay, so I'm going to let all of that sink in nicely. I might actually just pop back to the eye area and put a tiny little bit of, look up for me, mascara just through the roots of your lower lashes. My mum does a lot of dancing. She's not a dancer, but she really enjoys it. I think she said it's good for the whole body, but she particularly likes it because it's good for the mind. And when she has to learn a routine, she said it's so good for just keeping you mentally agile.
It is.
So before we finish off the makeup, I'm going to go back into the eyes now. I'm going to add a touch more. Obviously I need to do brows, but we're just going to add a touch more smokiness around your eyes. For this I'm using more of a deep grey with a touch of shimmer in. See? I'm just going to go back and smoke out that lower lash line a little bit more. So next I'm just going to put a tiny bit of shimmer at the inner corner there. And I'm not going to go in and put lots of concealer here. There's bits of colour within the skin, but I really love that. I love it when you can see a little blue, a little texture around the eyes. I'm not really the biggest fan of like conceal to the point where the face is almost flattened. But a little light in the inner corner is always nice. And then onto brows. You have such a good brow shape.
That's from my maternal grandmother.
Oh, it's also your bone structure is so good that the brow bone is beautiful. What do you do with your brows? Have you plucked them over the years?
Yeah, in the 80s they were quite severely plucked, and they've never really, the outer edge has never really grown back.
They're pretty good though, considering they were heavily plucked, because they're still very full.
Yes, yeah. I mean, well, I didn't pluck them near the nose.
It
was just where you can see where, really.
Was that also when you used to draw your brows in so that you didn't have the restriction of following the shape?
I would, because they're arched, I would do the full part near the nose, the first half of the arch, as it is.
Yes.
And then I would take it up above the natural brow to give myself even more space to put those colours in.
Yeah, that's a really good theatrical kind of makeup technique. Good for being on the stage, but maybe not for real life.
No,
you end up with
yeah.
Because your hair is grey, I'm using quite a cool toned pencil. Not too cool toned. It's sort of, again, we're going with this not too cool, not too warm. But it's a little ashier, the pencil colour.
I was going to say I would normally use a browny grey.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, otherwise it just gets too warm. It always looks very unnatural, I think, when you've got grey hair and a sort of auburny brow.
Yes.
And then I'm going to use a brow gel. This one is tinted, quite a light shade. Again, a cool tone. I'm going to take most of the colour off. So we're just adding a tiny amount of colour. And this will just help to really separate the hairs, but also to set the brows in place. Okay, so now I'm going to do lips using Velvet Muse. So I'm just going to follow the natural shape to start with, just patting that on. So we've still got a little bit of lip balm on there. Oh, I couldn't see that side then. And then I'm going to use a pencil. This is a lighter colour, so it's quite good for diffusing the edge. Just relax the mouth. This one is actually Pillow Talk. So rather than doing a darker edge, it's a slightly lighter edge, just a fraction. And then I'm just using this to draw over a little bit, just on the edges. Not massively, not going to give you huge lips. This smile for me? You can keep your lips together and smile. Sorry. There, you must be no stranger to lip liner from the dancing days.
That's right, yes. When it was a very big stage, we had to put a thick black line around our lips and then bright red lipstick.
Oh yeah, so you have that definition with the lights and everything. Yes. It's amazing stage makeup for that.
Yeah.
You can really have fun and go crazy. Just blending everything so we've got nice seamless transitions going on there.
That's something that had never occurred to me, actually, to use a clean brush.
For the
blending.
Final blend, no, it's really helpful.
So that's a good tip that I've learned today.
So I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer now, not to bronze you up or anything, but just to almost join everything together in a way. And it's not a very, it's very cool tone bronzer. It's not a deep one or anything. Just joining the dots. I think you're more or less ready. Let me see. I'm always fiddling about the last minute to kind of decide if I want to add anything or take anything down. I think this is the moment to kind of really just look for making sure that everything is in harmony and you have that lovely sense of balance really in the face. Just put one tiny bit of extra highlighter. I mean, not to look even like highlighter, but I just noticed that your skin naturally catches the light just there. So I'm slightly enhancing just that area. Okay, now you've got amazing hair. I feel like I want to let it down for the final shot. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. Have a look at your makeup. See.
Oh, yes.
Nice, do you like it?
I do, yes.
Which is this the sort of makeup you might wear to, don't know, go meet friends?
Yeah, this is a kind of effect that I definitely like, especially for the evening. I like the way the liner is not too harsh.
Yeah, it's very soft.
I can't do liner myself. If anything that I use tends to be too hard, and it closes the eye up.
Yes, yeah.
So
when it's a harsh line,
Yeah.
it is very closing.
And also with the lashes at the outer edge, that helps.
Yeah, I forgot to
Keep
say
it
actually, guys,
open.
it was a half set of lashes, so it's just really at that outer half of the eye, so it's quite lifting as well without closing, because sometimes when they go all the way into the corner, they're long. Again, it closes the eye because it's the heaviness.
Yes.
But I think because we've mixed sort of a little bit of the gel liner with some powder, and it's all kind of constantly being blended and sort of mushed in together, we haven't got anything which is too overly graphic, I'd say, and not too heavy and closing.
Like you said, it's quite. It doesn't look as if I've piled on.
No, not
loads of
at all.
makeup.
I mean, your skin
Somehow
there's
it's
very little
natural.
makeup. Yeah, it's natural with definition.
Yes,
which is good, I think, for an evening as well, because if there is going to be a photo or something, having that extra depth around the eyes, I think, is really good.
Yes.
You don't feel washed out. Well, I think you look gorgeous. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
It was
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure, and hearing all your stories about your dancing and your career is just really lovely and a real privilege. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you. I feel gorgeous.